want to start off. I'm talking about Israel Adesanya and Paulo Costa reviewing that
UFC
fight.
253.
Man, look, bro. I was telling everybody what's up about that fight.
Okay.
Israel's just too good, bro. I'm telling you right now. Look.
Before we jump in that, can I do something really quick?
What?
Just for the main card. Excuse me. I know for the main card.
You sure?
I promise I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay.
It's just a little cough. My house is really warm, and it's trying to change seasons. It's just really weird. Anyway, first of all, I'm not gonna name any names because all the names on here are terrible. But I do want to say, featherweight, decision win, round 3, Hakeem, the Dogodo. I don't really know these guys, but I'm just naming them so people know.
I mean, we barely watched it because
We barely watched it, but still.
I had to work that night, and you had something to do.
Yeah,
Then it was just a whole mess.
it was a mess. But
we don't have to mention all those fights right now because I just want to focus on the main event.
okay, we could do that.
We could talk about Dominick Reyes and
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
And Jan
Yeah.
Blachowicz. Jan, I didn't expect him to take out Reyes like that because Reyes he did the best job against John Jones than anybody ever did.
Well, I mean, Alexander Gustafsson.
But I say more so recently though.
Recently, yeah.
And you could arguably say that he
Recently,
won against.
sure.
You could arguably say he won against John Jones.
Yeah,
In
arguably.
that fight.
But John Jones is pretty.
Right. So I thought going into this fight, I was like, I think Dominick Reyes, he's been real good, man, winning every fight except for the John Jones one. I was like, I think he got this one in the bag. Jan Blachowicz knocked him out in that second round. I was shocked.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked. You see his knees buckled, bro.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's the crazy part.
I was like, God damn!
But
It didn't even feel like it hit him that hard. It looked like it wasn't
stick.
even a straight. It was like
a quick stick.
It was like a quick jab, with like a lunge jab, and I was like, God damn! He smacked on. Then it was like quick pause. And his knees buckled. I was like, holy shit! Oh man, he did him bad, bro.
It happens.
Did him bad. Now he the new light heavyweight champion right now.
Yeah. Which is wild, but excuse me, he deserves it. I mean, for you to have that quick little step jab type deal, lunge jab, and knock somebody else, accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm gonna get into later about somebody else. But like you said, Israel Adesanya and Paula, how you said that? Paulo Costa. First of all, shout out to Costa. The man got hands of fucking steel. The man boom, he hit like Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, somebody. He's just a big guy. His whole upper body's just stacked, but you can tell he can move it. It's not like Mike Tyson where it's just bold and big. He really does have a martial arts side to him. You can tell he can move his body a little more limber. And if he hits you and catches you with a good hit, it's over. And Adesanya broke him down.
Adesanya wasn't stupid. He wasn't gonna sit there and brawl.
He's smart. You cannot brawl him. He's too big. Literally, we just watched Baki, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how it's so perfect. Excuse me. It's so perfect because they had the character Muhammad Ali Jr.
Yeah.
His son, right? And you see, he was like, "There's kicking in boxing too." Yeah, it's crazy. I'm not gonna get into it.
That's an anime.
Yeah, it's anime. You gotta watch the anime series. Kind of makes sense, but Paulo Costa is dang near the same way. He can't kick, and so he can actually kick. But his boxing is good. It's heavy-handed. He generates power from the ground. He's boxing you. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing, man.
But
I feel like that's still a bad example because he has good boxing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not great boxing.
I think for MMA, I think it's great to me.
Check this out, bro. Even Israel said it was after the fight, in one of his interviews, he said he didn't realize how slow he said when he when he was fighting Paulo Costa, he said he was slower than he thought. He was slower than he thought going in that fight. I mean, granted that he did chop his legs and remove, there's chopping that front leg, lead leg, you can't generate power.
You really can't, not.
So it made it hard for Paulo Costa to move, for him to hit him with any hard hits, and he couldn't get in. He couldn't get inside the way he wanted to. Right. Israel kept him at a certain distance, kept moving around, picked his shots, and did what he said he wanted to do. Second round, I think I said third round he was gonna knock him out, but this fight, it was the second round.
Yeah, listen, I say Israel's the next Anderson Silva. He proved that a long time ago when he actually fought Silva, and he showed him so much respect. But when they fought, you could tell they had the same kind of like style to them. Like they both knew how to kind of like do that little.
He's gonna be the new. Hate to say it, but like he's gonna be the new GOAT, bro.
Yeah, he's gonna hate to say it. I want you to say it. I believe it. I really do. I believe Anderson passed the torch to Israel. Like Israel,
especially in middleweight.
And Israel keeps saying it, and people are like not really catching it. Like he said it in his interview at the end. He said, shout out to Anderson or something. He said something about Anderson. Basically keeps letting you know I'm talking to Anderson. Anderson's basically told me he's passing the torch to me.
He pretty much did. That's what that fight was.
That's what that fight
was. When he first fought, not first fought, but when he fought Anderson Silva.
How does Anderson be talking? Previous set. The little squeaky voice when he'll beat your ass.
He's very good. Very good. Oh, bushy.
Y'all be killing me with that impression.
But when he fought Anderson Silva, we all saw that it was a pass. Yeah. It was a pass of the torch. It was almost like a rite of passage.
Yes, it was. Test. It was, bro.
Pass of the torch. But then but some people like, man, like Anderson actually pushed them. Like then people, of course. Then people felt like
it's like
because hold on. But here's the thing though. People felt like because of Anderson's performances, recent performances, Israel should have did better.
Nah.
Against Anderson. Now people was like, is he really the chosen one?
Right? Yes.
But then he had to be tested against Gaston, Robert Whittaker, Yo Romero, and now Paulo Costa, and now it's completely official.
I think it's
completely official that he is there. He's the next. Not even the next. He is a huge superstar right now, and he can be the next Anderson Silva. You feel me? Now I don't want to say Anderson Silva because he's his own person. He's the next. He is Israel Adesanya. He's gonna be the next great middleweight great. Like when people think about fighting, especially the striking, people gonna think about Israel Adesanya.
I agree. I don't want to take away from what you just said because you're right. But I think people really got to understand that fight we saw with him and Anderson was a treat. That fight was supposed to be like a training session. Like they were supposed to train, and Anderson's like, I like what you do, whatever, however, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Like they were supposed to literally be in a gym somewhere in the back. He maybe went to Brazil and met with Anderson to eat lunch with him. And they had a training session, or they just kind of exchanged numbers. That's what that was supposed to be. But we had the privilege of seeing it hand to hand, pay-per-view. They got to fight. Ain't nobody really training nobody. You just watching two fighters fight.
Right.
But I knew personally, when they stepped in the ring, I said, this is going to be a nice fight, but it won't be exactly what we want because there's no dirt here. This is a meetup that should have happened privately to let Israel know that he got it. And since they did it publicly, people need to realize, need to really believe that Israel's about to be the next GOAT. Like, Israel hasn't even unleashed yet to me. He hasn't unleashed yet. He neglects to use some of his own tools in any fight that he has. Because he's the same as Anderson. When he opened up, and he's the same as John Jones. When they open up, they move like instinctually, but every part of their body is a part of them. You know how some fighters, they can fight and they know how to use their body?
Right.
They're using their body. With Anderson, Israel, and John Jones, them three specifically,
Right.
their body is a vessel. It's like instinctually their bodies move like fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not sitting there saying, I'm gonna do this, throw it like this, alright, they gotta move like this. It's more like, alright, there's an opening. I'm gonna do what I need to. Right? They're not really thinking about what they're doing. And you notice that because like their moves start turning into like a fucking movie scene from Mission Impossible. Anderson starts his with the slips. How do you slip somebody? You slip the mess out of Forrest Griffin. Literally had that man going like, big ass throws. You slip. And then when he goes for a simple like hard hit, you go a quick up that wasn't even a up. He didn't hit him with the uppercut like a boxer. He did a martial arts uppercut where it's just loose, right? And doing and fell out. That's Anderson. When he opens up, he's slipping, he's moving, he's doing all of this. When Israel opens up, he starts blocking you unconventionally, like he's Ip-Man or somebody. He's like he literally starts blocking you unconventionally, right? Same thing with John Jones, Johnny Bones Jones. The boy uses all his limbs, his elbows, his knees, slip. He starts blocking unconventionally too. He even blocks you from the front unconventionally, but he's also hitting you with elbow. He'll go every trip, and you'll see him do it a lot. He even just kind of like throws it up sometimes, right? As if he's blocking, and that's them opening up. That's them being the goats that they are. And I think to me, when you find somebody that can use their body as a vessel rather than just a tool, like anybody can use their body, that's just it's a tool. I picked this, it's a tool. But as a vessel, it becomes a part of me now. I now can move the mic with ease instead of, I gotta do that. It's more like, I just lift that bad boy up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, you know what I mean? So I kind of went off topic, but my main point to that was that if we know Anderson's like this and we see him open up all these years and he really has the tools to open up and he opened up against Israel, come on now.
Hey, bro.
That's it.
The person who gave Israel Adesanya the most trouble in the UFC was Kevin Gaston.
Yeah.
Kevin Gaston, he was shorter. He wasn't as big, or wasn't as buff, I should say. But he was still stocky, and he was able to get in close.
Yeah.
He was able to get in the inside and hit him with some hard ass hits. That was Israel's hardest.
I'm gonna speak on this briefly because I've been talking a lot, but I can attest to that because I'm tiny too, and I know how a tiny man thinks. And Kevin is a tiny boxer, a brawler, not boxer, but a brawler. He's a tiny brawler, and I appreciate that. But it does take a lot to be a tiny brawler, because now when you face people like Israel, who's tall and lanky, and can really use their excuse me, and can really use their limbs, right? You kind of have a test in your hands. But Kevin handled it like he should have. He walked in, pressured him, walked him down like he was a big man. Because even though Israel's taller than him, that don't mean shit. Kevin's like this. Israel's low-key kind of skinny. He just knows to use his length and his lankiness. The same with Anderson, the same with Johnny. But Kevin came in and was like, boom, generating power. Goo, goo. Yeah, and he's tiny. And throwing all these hits on, you know what I'm saying? He's bringing them from everywhere. So you're right. Of course he gave him the most trouble, because now it's a height difference. But this little man has power. He not just like, oh, I can't reach you, but I'm gonna try to get to you. It's more like, nigga, if I get close to you, I'm about to break something on you. You know what I'm saying? And for anybody, I don't care how big you are, if you know anybody, big or short, if they getting in on you, all Kevin had to do for a tiny person, right? I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to brag or anything, but like, if I'm fighting somebody who's bigger than me, and I'm trying to get in there, matter of fact, when I fought my cousin, right? We didn't actually fight, but he taught me how to box, right? One of the main things I learned from fighting him so much, he was Gold Gloves champ. And he was good at it. So like, there was, long story short, when I was young, he let me win, but I learned hella shit. So the thing was, whenever I would fight this man, because he was taller than me, he had reach. He kept telling me, get in close, get in close, get in close. At first I didn't understand, but then he started jabbing me and throwing me back, and I started to understand, okay, let me get in close. But then when I learned how to get in close, once you get in close, you fucking somebody's life up. Especially being little, because now all of this is open to you. They up here. They up here. They trying to get you down here. Yeah, they got the length, but if you get in, all that length is gone. If my head and shit is under here, your arm back here, ain't shit you doing to me.
Right.
Or even if I'm up close and you hit me, it may come and hit me, but I'm still moving in, like tight. I'm stocky. My power's here now. So when I step in, I'm there's a difference.
Right.
To whereas if I'm walking up and I'm going like that, you know what I'm saying? I may be throwing a hook to the body, but I'm just kind of throwing it in. To whereas I walk in, I got my shit into me, into my body, and I go from the hip, from the shoulder, all of that. You know everything about it. You know what I'm saying? That whole science behind that, that's going. And now you got this little dude who just is stocky and just eating all your body up. You done. So Israel knew, off rip, I gotta keep my leg. I don't care that he's short. That's not my issue. The man can still beat my ass. See, tiny to me, he got them hands. He's heavy-handed. He's coming at you like a heavyweight to whatever Israel is, middleweight, right? Middleweight.
Yeah. Israel
So,
middleweight. Yeah.
Long story short, I'm just saying, it makes hella sense that Kevin was his worst because everybody else is lanky. Like when somebody's your height, it's a little bit easier, right? Because you tend to think, I'm gonna do what I normally do. We're the same height. You're basically fighting yourself. So when Kevin fights other people in that weight class and they're short like him, of course he's gonna win or put up a crazy good fight. And the same thing with Israel.
Right.
When he fights people that's his height, it's proven that he can use his own length and get off his shots because they got the same reach. So he's thinking it's a different chess game. But now you get these two opposites. Somebody's pressuring somebody. And so Israel's now on the defense rather than the attack. But I don't know where you want to go with it. I just want to test power to the short people.
Yeah. I want to get at cause you know Israel and John Jones, they still beefing online and talking shit. All talking shit to each other. Like John Jones said to Israel, he said, "I'll fucking rip your arms off."
I don't know about that.
And my honest opinion, I felt because you know John Jones went to heavyweight, right? He officially a heavyweight now.
Then this fight ain't never gonna happen.
He you never know. Israel said, of course he's gonna try to move up to light heavyweight, but I think he said he wants to see what his coach wants him to do because he really wants to fight John Jones. Israel said he said he's open to going up to heavyweight. Fighting at light heavyweight and heavyweight. He said he's open to it. Now that's a lot of eating and muscle building I have to do.
It was me.
Oh, okay.
Phone.
There's a lot of so I feel like he has the length, reach, skill. You know, that's his 100th combat sports fight. So it's like he's like 70. He has like 70 something wins in kickboxing, and like a few losses, and he has a few boxing fights, and he's 20-0 in UFC. And hey man, he's that fucking good. He that motherfucker.
I believe that.
He should be the baddest motherfucker on the planet. Like there should be a belt for that for him. Like
they really should, honestly.
Yeah.
Just do that nigga, man.
So I just can't wait to see what's next for Israel.
If that fight transpires, I'm excited to see who wins that.
Right.
For one, because the same as the Paula and him fighting, that match was important because 13-0, 19-0, Israel's now 20-0. But somebody had to lose at some point. They both was undefeated. Somebody had to lose. That's one thing. Israel's a champ. Israel knocked him out basically too. You know what I'm saying? Like that was just a good fight. And if Israel can get through Costa, because Paulo was on the rise, man. The dude was on the rise. He still is on the rise. It's just not his time for the belt. Now, if Israel moves up, Yeah, I think Costa probably have that work class and lock it in. Cause he hits hard.
I wouldn't say it would lock it in, cause
You think so?
you remember that? I don't think you saw that fight.
He does tend to get slow.
Romero and Costa. Romero and Costa fought. It was a war. It was fucking bloody ass war. But ultimately, most people feel like Romero won that fight. And me, most definitely, I was like, yeah, Romero should have got the win for that fight. Or Costa ended up getting the win for that fight.
Well,
so, like, I think if they was to fight each other again, I think Romero would beat Costa. Like, and I feel like fighters like Robert Whittaker could beat Costa. I feel
Robert
like
Whittaker is fucking phenomenal.
And I feel like I don't feel so. That's why I'm just saying. I'm just saying those things because you said you feel like Costa would have the middleweights on lock if Israel left that division, but I don't think so. I think there's still talent better than him in the division. Okay. It was just there was just so much hype for him against fight Israel. Everybody was saying, Costa was so big and buff.
Yeah, he's big as hell.
People feel like he's just a monster. Everybody's saying, you ain't shit unless you beat this juiced up monster.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say juiced up. That's everything shit. But Israel proved everybody wrong. He knocked him out in the second round, like hit him right on the temple. You see that he grazed his teeth, like pop.
Accuracy.
Excuse me. Hey, yeah, and you know what? I actually did watch that fight, man. But I was at work. I was watching on my phone. Like people was texting me, like, "Oh, you gonna buy the fight? You gonna buy the fight?" I just avoided.
Yeah.
Because I usually have to fight on stuff like that.
Always.
Yeah, so
I would have been over here.
And I didn't want nobody messing with my ESPN account. Cause I wasn't sure if I turn it on, then they turn the TV on and cancel me out, cancel them. I didn't want to go through all that bullshit, so I just said nothing. Like
that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
My brother gonna be mad when I tell him this. My brother texted me that night. He said, "You buying the pay-per-view?" Oh, we're trying to. I told him. I just said I'm at work.
Stop the cap.
He's like, oh, okay. So
yeah, he was sorry.
I'm at work watching the.
I'm at work.
At your desk. I was watching.
Those niggas got knocked out.
Then perfect timing at the. When I had my break, had a 1 hour lunch break. At night, so I just went in my car and just watched it. Just in my car yelling, yeah, kill his ass, whoop him up. I was all hyped and shit. But yeah, that was the best break ever. But,
I already know, man. That's what's up.
But yeah.
So let's move on to, because Israel's the GOAT, basically, long story short. I'm glad to see he won. I wanted him to win anyway.
He's the choice.